What's up, y'all? Welcome to another episode of Big Rules Movie TV Reviews on YouTube, where I take reviews of movies and TV shows and give them my point of view, you know. So these are just my opinions of certain movies, TV shows, season finales, or whatever. So take it with a grain of salt if you want, but this is just my opinion, you know. So with that being said, oh, and also I do strictly spoiler reviews on my videos. So because I don't got time to do non-spoilers and spoilers. There's some non-spoilers out there of certain movies you can go out there on the tube and check out. But in my video, I do strictly spoilers. I review plot points, I review what happens, and I review secrets. So if you didn't see a certain movie or a certain TV show, don't watch this video. But if you did see a certain TV show or season finale and you want to hear my opinion, sit back and relax. Because right now, I'm going to do my review of War for the Planet of the Apes. Seen it the other day. And keep in mind, once again, these are spoilers. So before I talk about the movie, let me give a quick oral history of the franchise itself. It all started back in the 1960s. Well, for those who don't know, about the franchise. But for those who don't know, this took place back at the 1960s. Basically, 1964, an author by the name of Pierre Boulet put out a special novel, and I can't pronounce the name, but basically it's talking about what if simian apes were to rise up and take us over. And somehow it did well in the bestseller list. That 4 years later, a script and a movie was developed to see this happen. And the script was co-written by the Twilight Zone's own Rod Serling. So other than that, it came out back in 1968, 4 years later after the release of the book. Of course, they casted Charlton Heston, a legendary actor at the time. And before you know it, it became an overnight success. So Planet of the Apes became so iconic, they spawned 4 more sequels. They did a cartoon, a 1-season TV show, toys, that garbage show, that Tim Burton, I don't want to talk about that. That Tim Burton garbage remake, to now with the reboot prequel trilogy of Planet of the Apes. So this is the third and allegedly final chapter in the reboot prequel trilogy. And I have to say, they went out with a bang. This, I have to say, probably one of the best Apes films of all time. And that's a big statement, but after seeing this film, wow. But let me get to what I know and what I know about the film so far. Once again, spoilers, so you've been warned. The intro started with 20th Century Fox. It had a drum thing, the usual 20th Century Fox theme. And this one, they just do a drum like boom, 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 boom. Kind of different, but okay. Now, in the beginning of the film, you see certain apes helping out the humans. Well, before all that, they're going to explain what happened, 12, 15 years later after the events of both movies, from Rise of the Planet of the Apes to From Dawn to the Planet of the Apes. It's like now the apes are at war, and they've been at war for a minute, and also in the beginning, you see apes and humans working together. Now, these apes that are working with the humans that are trying to kill these apes, the apes that are working with the humans are part of Koba. If you remember Dawn, Koba was the hateful ape that really started the war, that really Caesar had to stop. These apes are part of his tribe. Well, what's a good word? Those are his followers. These are the ones that still follow Koba. You know what I'm saying? And basically they're siding with the humans to fight Caesar and his apes. So it's a lot of betrayal and all you're going to see in this film, but it's kind of a good twist to look at it. Then, of course, Caesar has a family, But then come to find out his little brother, the little brother that was born in the second movie that grown up to be, the brother turns out to be Cornelius. Now, for those who don't know, if you know your Planet of the Apes history, Cornelius is the ape scientist from the original movies. See, this movie basically is connecting to the original. You know, these three movies, these three prequel trilogy movies are all connected to the original Planet of the Apes. So these movies are setting forth going into 1968, the original with Charlton Heston. Because remember, Charlton Heston was in space when all this was going down. And if y'all saw Rise, y'all know what I'm talking about. But Cornelius is the ape scientist who had his wife Zera in the early movies. But it was a shocker to find out that that is Caesar's son. You know, and it makes sense that later down the road they named their son Caesar after his father. So it is what it is. In the beginning of the film, Caesar's family is killed. Basically, his wife and son. His wife and oldest son is killed. Cornelius is safe, but his wife and oldest son was murdered, thanks to the evil general. Thanks to that evil general played by Woody Harrelson. Woody Harrelson, yeah, he's an evil motherfucker. He's real evil, but what he did, and Caesar decided to go after him for revenge. And you know the apes are against it, and then of course certain apes are saying that you're acting like Koba, you know. But hey, I mean they killed my family, so I got to get at this guy. The intro of Bad Ape. Bad Ape is very, very funny. I mean, Steven Zane, he's a veteran actor. Bad Ape, he was like the comic relief. I mean, and also I noticed that Caesar and Bad Ape, well, mainly Caesar, his speech he can talk very, very good. I guess the evolution of that drug, which I'm going to get to in a minute. And then we see another character that was in the original Planet of the Apes, the little girl who's mute, Nova. Yes, that's the same Nova that'll grow up to be Linda Harrison, the female that falls in love, that becomes the love interest of Charlton Heston's character in the later in the Ape films later. You know, because like I said, this takes place. Like I said, this sets up the 1968. But remember, this is like many years later. But I'll get to that in a minute. What else am I missing? The apes basically are made into slaves when they were captured by Woody Harrelson's character. They basically were slaves. And before that, Caesar found Nova, and come to find out that the virus that they created, you know, back in Rise, you know, the ALZ virus that, you know, supposed to be the cure for Alzheimer's, you know, that created and killed. It became the simian virus, and it killed off most of the people on Earth. Some survived. But now come to find out that this virus has mutated. This virus has mutated and is making apes a little more smarter and humans a little more dumber, mainly turning them mute. Now that, once again, that's another thing, that's a nod to the 1968 film, because if you remember the 1968 film, when Charlton Heston came back to Earth, the apes were the dominant species and the humans were mute, because all the humans were mute. They couldn't talk and they were like the primitive. And it's all because of that drug. So definitely this all connects to 1968 in a way. The third act fight. It was pretty good. The third act fight was pretty good. You know, Caesar freed his slaves. Well, not his slaves, freed his people from the evil general. But also the evil general got what was coming to him. Because when Nova left her doll, he touched it, and then when Caesar went to go get him, turned to find out he was infected with the virus that turned humans mute. So he couldn't. So basically, he couldn't live this way. He couldn't suffer because when they made mute, they can't talk. And he tried. Caesar wanted to kill him, but he was like, "Nah, you suffered enough." So the general, Woody Harrelson's character, shot himself. You know, he was a motherfucker, and he had it coming. Now, the death of Caesar. Well, it was bound to happen because he had to die. I mean, a few people died. It was coming because, like I said, you got to set up these next 8 films. Coming going into 1968. So the death of Caesar is, it was coming. It was sad. Even I kind of choked up a little bit. It was sad to lose Caesar, but at least he died with a purpose for his apes to move on and everything. So it was sad. And also, like I said, once again, like I said before, all this is going into the 1968 original. So like I said, these prequel trilogies basically is setting us up for what's happening in the 1968 because we're seeing what's happening, what's going down, and now we're going into the 1968 and all the other 5 films, the other 4 films after that. So this is a good way to connect the dots, and I liked it. I liked the way they did that, and I liked the way Caesar ended. My overall thought of this film, fantastic. To me, it's one of my favorite 8 films because one of my favorite 8 films, of course, was Rise. Rise is what really got me into the franchise. Dawn was pretty good. It's a strong favorite, but this one, War, has to be the best of them all. To me, probably the best, probably better than the original. The original 1968 one, because right now the 1968 one to me is my second best. Beneath was like the weakest one, but it was watchable. I love the third one, Escape. Of course, the fourth one, Conquest, is my favorite, and Battle, the last one. But I have to say, this third act, this final one, allegedly final, because there are rumors that they may do another one, probably with Bad Ape, but I don't think that they shouldn't. I think they just should leave it just like this and just leave it. If they want to do Planet of the Apes, like bring back the cartoon, like do some new stuff, but I say leave it. Don't do nothing else. But if they do, hey, that's up to them. But overall, I give this movie an A+. Best ape film ever. My favorite. And I would recommend you definitely see it. If you're an ape fan, you're going to love it. If not, still going to love it. I recommend you see it. War for the Planet of the Apes, definitely a banger. Definitely. So, if I was you, I would go check it out. I give it my strong endorsement. Other than that, that's about it. Thank you for watching my review. Like I said, support my channel, Big Rule 28 on YouTube. That's my channel. Of course, if you want to hit me up, you want to text me or whatever the case, hit my email at anakind3@yahoo.com. That's ANAKIND3@yahoo.com. Of course, I got my Twitter, Big Rule 288, Instagram, Big Rule 282. My Facebook, I keep Big Rule Samad. Just hit up Big Rule. And, just hit me up or whatever the case may be. Or, if you got something to say, hit the comments below and let me know what's up. But other than that, I got to go. Thanks for watching. My next review will be Atomic Blonde with Charlize Theron. With that being said, I'm the Great Big Rule. Thank you for watching this video, and we out.